I don't know if I'm going to post this or not, but I'm just going to record it anyway, just to have it as a record. And if I choose to post it, I'll post it on my cringe channel, because this is arguably cringe. I'm 52 years old. I failed in my marriage. I failed in my professional life. I'm not going to talk about what I do right now to make scraps of money, but it's basically not, nothing that has any aura of prestige about it. Not that I care about prestige, but just saying. This is not a suicide note. I want to get that out of the way because I don't believe in suicide. But I also don't really want to live that much right now. In the past, I always had time. I could comfort myself thinking, well, I've got time ahead of me. I've got time to get this done. I may not be where I want to be right now, but I've got some good things cooking, and I've got time to make things happen. But I don't feel that way anymore. I'm going to be 53 in January, and I don't have time. Time is not on my side right now. Time is slipping away. I don't feel that old. Maybe that's a good thing. I'm not just trying to be all black-pilled here. I don't feel that old, but I am. My children are grown. I love them more than anything, of course. But I've just been wondering, what's the plan now? What's the plan now? With my name effectively being Mud, there's no way I could get a job in academia, and even if I didn't have the infamy attached to the alt-right scene, even if I didn't have that hanging over my head, I still, the academic life is for shit. I mean, it really is. I made a very bad decision years ago when I decided to go into, when I decided to be an English major, when I decided to go into English education, and then got my master's. It was dumb. I wasn't thinking practically. I just knew that I loved to read and I loved to write, and so I thought I'll just hang around that area and things will work out for me. But hasn't been the case. I mean, I've done okay from time to time, but generally speaking, it's not been a stellar career. I mean, I'm not. I don't. I'm not somebody who thinks that you have to, if you're a man, you have to get rich. You have to get rich in order to be a success. I don't feel that way at all. I just don't see much of a way forward right now for myself, career-wise, and it feels as though my life is pretty much behind me. My life as I know it. I don't see myself. I certainly don't see myself ever marrying again, because in my mind, I'm still legally married. I'm still married, and as far as the church is concerned, the Catholics don't believe in divorce. Catholics believe in annulment, and if there are circumstances in which you were married in under duress, or not knowing the full truth about who you were marrying, or something like that, I feel that I was legitimately married, and I still am legitimately married, even though I'm separated from my wife, with no hope of reconciliation. So, I had two kids. I raised them to adulthood. They're both young adults now, and I'm proud of them both. And honestly, I've wrestled with the thought of ending my life, but ultimately that's just not a route that I feel I can take, because it's not mine to take. My life is not mine to take. Suicide is a sin. It may be a mortal sin. I know it was considered a mortal sin for a long time, and that's why people who committed suicide generally weren't given proper burials, like you see with Ophelia in Hamlet. How she's denied the burial rites that are given to people who are considered to be in the grace of God. Lately, of course, if a Catholic commits suicide in today's environment, he'll generally speaking not be. I think, there'll be some assumption that he maybe wasn't in his right mind when he did it, and we can still hope for his eternal soul. And I mean, you can say that's modernism, or a modernist abomination, but I tend to be sympathetic with that interpretation of things. We can't know the state of anybody's soul. We can't, and I don't presume to. And I hope the best for everyone, Catholic, non-Catholic, non-Christian. I feel that there's hope for everyone, except for people who just are absolutely evil in the way they live their lives. This is my take on these kinds of issues. There are some people that I think richly deserve hell, and I hope they go there. But most people, most of the people that I know, I wouldn't wish that on them. And so I believe there is hope for them, for all of us. But I am a man of conscience, and I can't, in good conscience, end my life intentionally. But I don't think that there's anything sinful. There would be anything sinful about putting myself, taking up a job or an occupation that would put myself in harm's way, and would more likely lead to me possibly not surviving For example, if you're a soldier and you go off to fight in a war, given that it's a just war, of course, um, and you're not doing anything wrong, and if you get killed in that war, it's not a mortal sin. You didn't kill yourself. You were killed in a war. Just like if you get murdered in the street, there's not the taint of sin about that. You were just victimized. Or in the cases of martyrs, of course, they people who die standing up for the faith or refusing to turn their back on the faith and are killed for that reason. That's the best way to die. Not that we should strive to be martyrs. Not that we should all seek out martyrdom for ourselves. But if it comes to us, it's a blessed way to die. But I'm not courting martyrhood. I don't have that exalted of an idea of myself. I know myself too well to think that I'd be some kind of that I'm any kind of saint. I think if what we hear about purgatory is true, I'm gonna have to spend some time there. I'm pretty sure before I can be cleared to move on to be with God. But anyway, all of that aside, what I'm thinking about now is looking into becoming a photojournalist, a freelance photojournalist who travels places in the world where there's action, where action is happening, where stuff is going on, where things are dangerous, putting myself there, reporting on it. I think I can use my gifts as a writer in that circumstance. I don't have gifts as a photographer, but I don't particularly, I've never studied photography or anything, but I think in that circumstance I can take pictures and write pieces about things that are going on. And if I die in that occupation, then I'm comfortable with that. It seems that my life as I've always understood it is definitely behind me now. There's nothing left to do. Of course, as I said, I love my kids. I still love my wife, even though we are not, she's basically my ex-wife in a worldly sense, but I still love her. But I don't see me going through the day-to-day stuff, as I'm approaching my retirement years, as I'm approaching my pension years. I can't go on like this. I can't go on in this state, in the current way. There's just no future. There's no future in it. And again, as I was saying before, I don't think there's much of a future. I don't see much of a future in my future. I know that sounds grim. I mean, I've got my books that I've written and I'm still writing. And I've got, another book that's going to be published in hopefully January of next year. That's something to look forward to. Never stopped writing. Never stopped thinking of writing as my my calling. Hence my Broke Boy articles. that I've published at my Substack page lately. But there's no real prospects for me, and I don't want to just I don't want to just creep into old age. I don't want to just slouch into old age like this. Now I don't know how one becomes a photojournalist exactly, but it's something I'm going to look into. So those are my thoughts about all this right now, and that's where I'm going to leave it.